Cox can help make your home smarter and your life easier. Now you can use your Contour voice remote to connect to your home life cameras so you can view them right on your TV screen using simple voice commands. That makes it easy to keep tabs on what's happening around your home right from your couch. Need to keep an eye on the kids when they're playing outside? Just say, "Show me my backyard camera" into your Cox voice remote and watch them while you're in the house. And if you're waiting for a delivery and want to make sure it's there on time, no problem. Just say, "Show me driveway camera" to check on it with your Home Life HD cameras on the TV screen while you go about your day. When you live in a home powered by Cox Internet, you can stay connected to what matters and let Cox take care of the rest. To learn more about all the benefits of your connected home, visit cox.com/thisishome today.
Now, from the Star Rental Sports Desk, your 950 KJR Sports Headlines.
Okay, here we go. Headlines. What time is it? 4:02 right here, Wednesday afternoon, live from the VMAC. Headlines, of course, are brought to you by our friends at Buddy's Goodies and Glass. It's always 4:20 at Buddy's, baby.
There has to be a flag on that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, Sounders. 6-2 thrashing of Portland Sunday. They'll be back at it tonight against FC Dallas in Dallas. 5 o'clock pre-match, 5:30 kickoff right here on 950 KJR. Mariners win yesterday, 3-1 over Texas. Tyler Anderson, 6 innings, 1 run, no walks, 4 Ks, M64 and 56. Back at it tonight against the Rangers. Marco Gonzalez against Mike Fultonevich coming up from Texas in the next hour or so. And how about this? The Governor Jay Inslee today announcing that schools, colleges, universities, employees of higher education must get vaccinated. And he says that does apply, by the way, to Washington State Cougar head football coach Nick Rolovich. How about that? Let's get the Petros Papadakis right now on 950 KJR.
It's time for our weekly conversation with college football analyst Petros Papadakis.
Not that I'm a smart guy, I'm stupid.
Brought to you by Sweet James Accident Attorneys.
41 yards.
If you're hurt in an accident, call Sweet James right away at 800-500-5200. Sweet James will be sweet to you, but tough on insurance companies that will bully you.
Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Ushalayim.
And now with Petros, here's Dave Softy Muller.
Losers.
All right, boys and girls, back here at the VMAC. More with Joe Fan coming up in a matter of minutes. Dick Fain is off today calling a storm game. We have Sounders FC soccer at 5:30. Sounders in Dallas pre-match show at 5 o'clock. And Joe Fan. You like that, huh?
I don't even know what it is.
God, I love making you laugh. It's so fun. All right, first of all.
What's the storm? Oh, the girls' team, the women's.
What's the matter with you?
Sorry.
The WNBA team in town. You have a daughter. You should take that back.
I take it back. I knew immediately.
Yeah.
Do you think Rapinoe's going to be there cheering on her lady?
Maybe. You know, she's married to Sue Bird.
That's what I'm saying.
Married or engaged? Sue Bird and Rapinoe. Are they married now or engaged?
I believe
they're married. Married, yeah. So
I'm all over this.
They're like royalty in Seattle. Well, anyway, Petros Papadakis, before we get going here, brought to you by
Sweet James Bergener, 800-500-5200, the dense beard of justice, the one and only greatest personal injury attorney that ever lived, James Bergener, awarded Best Attorneys in America. He's accrued hundreds of millions of dollars for thousands of clients over the years, and you can be his next success story, especially if you've been bitten by a dog or been in an accident. He'll get you the medical care that you deserve, get your car fixed, get your compensation.
Oh.
So give them a call. They're open 24/7, and you don't pay till you settle. 800-500-5200.
Well done, as always. Well, Husky fans are, some of them on edge up here. Have you heard about what's going on with Jimmy Lake's recruiting class?
I don't even know if the Dodgers won last night.
The Dodgers.
I went out for a walk, and I was listening to a British novel read by a British lady. And they're like 40 hours of books on tape that I read.
Wow.
And it's just, and then you feel like after you listened to that, like the British lady is then narrating your life.
Yeah.
You know?
He walks along the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Right.
A long sigh of trepidatious satisfaction came from his, you know.
Wait a minute. What kind of book are you reading, pal?
Oh, you know, it's just about the human experience. Often.
Okay.
But anyway, it's being read to me, you should say.
Well,
so I don't really know. My answer is no. I don't know what is going on up there and why Husky fans are, quote, unquote, on edge.
So basically, instead of watching the Dodgers, which you'd think would come up on your show, and they won last night 4-3, by the way, over the Pirates. Instead of watching the Dodgers, getting ready for the program the next day with Matt Money Smith, you're walking around town hearing a British gal read you a book on tape. I like it. I like it. Priorities.
Yeah, about the registry.
There you go. Well,
do you know what the registry is?
Like the registry of people?
Yeah, like if you're a lord or a duke or a baroness or something.
Yeah. Or a lioness. Can you be a lioness?
No. Yeah, you could, but it'd be hard to be on the radio.
Jimmy
You
Lake.
put the headphones on a lion's head. Good luck.
Jimmy has lost 4 recruits now.
Bite your off.
Wow. Flag that one.
Yeah.
Jimmy Lake.
Shocky.
Jimmy Lake has lost 4 recruits.
Got more than one child on your hands.
Oh, God. Okay. You done? Jimmy Lake.
What?
Has lost 4 commits in his 2022 class.
Oh.
And people are starting to panic a little bit. Although I did see where Oklahoma has lost 3 wide receivers in this year's class, by the way.
God, who cares? They lose people. They add people. Sometimes when they lose people, those are people that they told to go away. It's true.
I don't think that's the case with this last guy, though.
You know, maybe not this last guy, but sometimes they tell a guy, they feel like a guy's coming that everybody doesn't know about, or they are disillusioned with a guy and they say, we'll take the hit and make it look like we lost you.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Go somewhere else, and then they kind of just wear the 24-hour PR hit and the self-righteousness of Softy and Mr. And then, the story's over in a short amount of time.
Right.
There's all kinds of weird offers and tricks in recruiting, exploding offers.
Exploding offers? What, like exploding golf balls?
No.
The offer comes
more
in the
like
mail and then blow.
Yeah, well, kind of like Get Smart. Like this message will explode in 15 seconds.
Right. Isn't that what Cal did to you, by the way? Gave you an offer and then he yanked it?
No, I left.
Oh, you did? Okay. I thought
UCLA offered me and yanked it.
Oh, why did they do that?
I went to a mental hospital.
Oh. Okay. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing at that.
That upset Washington State as well. Could you imagine that I was a character flaw for the Cougs? I'm still pissed off about
How
it.
messed up do you have to be?
Apparently, just about as messed up as I am.
Holy moly. I'm sorry, but go back to your
mid-90s. What's an exploding offer? An exploding offer is tell us, yes, you're coming within 24 hours or the offer goes away.
No, I got that. Yeah, that's absolutely. But that's not what's going on here. And look, I don't think it's time to
I don't know
panic.
what's going on here, but I'm just saying there's more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, that are dreamt of in your philosophy, to quote Hamlet.
It is, though, I think, there's some smoke there, right? This is not a nothing burger, I think, at UW. It may not be a triple bacon cheeseburger, covered in grease and lard.
Well,
but it's not a nothing burger either, I don't think.
Whenever you're talking about recruits, I'm not talking about guys that are there like Ethan Garbers who left.
Yeah,
now that's an upsetting situation for Washington fans, obviously. I think if the guy's there, that's something you're like, okay, well, what happened?
Right.
And more often than not, it's on the kid, okay? But if the guy's not there, there are so many things between that guy and the field that have very little to do with Jimmy. They have to do with that guy's girlfriend, that guy's family, that guy's relationship with school, that guy's relationship with maturing, that guy's ability to deal with the daily rigors and time management of college football. So I don't spill a lot of milk over a guy that's not in your uniform yet.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And I don't think that it should be something that people should be alarmed about or anything like that. And I think if Washington shows up on the field this year, which obviously they have to do, then recruiting's not going to be Jimmy's problem, and they'll be able to do exactly what they want to do. Now, if they don't show up on the field, these receivers are not going to be his problem either. He's going to have much bigger problems than that.
Right.
So, I think you got your team right now. Focus on what's happening right now and see what this guy can do with a full football season and a full arsenal. You're talking about one of the best offensive lines in the country, right?
Yep, I think so.
And one of the best defensive fronts in the country.
Yep.
And some of the best secondary players in the country, with some of the best coaching on that side of the ball in the country, year in and year out with Jimmy Lake. So there's a lot to look forward to. Like I told you when I was sitting with him, I want to see them become more explosive on offense. Of course, he does too. They got unproven receivers. That is a problem, I think. But I don't think that anybody needs to worry about some punk kid who pulls his stupid verbal commitment anyway.
Punk-ass kid pulling your verbal.
Stupid-ass punk.
I don't know about the defensive line. We'll see on the defensive line. They got a couple of guys there that have to emerge, and been hearing about these.
But they always do, right?
Well, yeah, they
always,
do.
They learn from the guys in front of them. They have what I'm saying is, without going through individual by individual, they have a great culture on those parts. The parts of a football team you need to have culture on to be successful.
Defensive side for sure. There's just some unknowns there, but as you say, at some point somebody will emerge, and we hope it's more than a couple of guys. You read Canzano's article today, by the way. He says that UW and Oregon. What are you laughing at?
No, I was listening to a P.D. James novel. I have not read Canzano.
It's Canzano, I believe.
I know.
One.
I'm sorry.
But we can call him Canzano. That's fine.
I like him.
John's awesome. John. You know what? The two Johns that cover the Pac-12, Wilner and Canzano, are both great at what they do. We're lucky to have both of them on our radio station.
Canzano has my dad on all the time.
Really? I'd love
on
to put your
show,
dad on the air.
Why don't you? Put him on.
Do you mind if I put
about
him
his
on?
album?
Your dad's album? I'd rather talk about you and get embarrassing stories about you.
Well,
you were a young man.
Satisfied.
Oh, I think I'd be very satisfied. I think your dad would air you out on the air.
Put him on.
How about your mom, the drunk?
Good luck.
Is she
Better
still
call
a drunk?
the bar.
Is your mom a drunk, really?
Ask her.
Ask
my dad.
Do you believe that your mother has a problem with alcohol?
In real life?
No, in fake life. Of course in real life.
In fake life, she is destroyed every day. It's a myth I made up.
God bless her.
My mother used to be nervous to go watch me play and get hit.
Yeah, sure. I get that. Yeah.
And so they were doing like a Mother's Day special when I was a player on one of the local stations, and they were like, so does your mother come to the games? And I said, maybe if you put a bottle of gin on the 50. And then it just kind of grew from there.
God. So that's where it all began. Like
no,
Brett
really
Favre and his painkillers. It all began with, what's your mom's name?
Donna
Papadakis started hitting the bottle because her son was playing football.
I really don't actually in real life. Since we're being so honest today, I don't think she drinks maybe twice a week.
Oh, come on. And you're just making her out to be something she's not. That's not
for decades.
Fair. Well, this is a circle
but
of
if you put my dad on,
Yeah.
If you put my dad on and be like, so John, is Donna really a drunk? And it'll be like, oh, yes, she is drunk again. Everybody just goes along with it.
I love it.
She likes it.
All right. Good.
My mom's in space.
Why not?
Like, my mom doesn't. She's not in, she's a space cadet.
Have some fun. Enjoy life. Well, John Canzano says that UW and Oregon should band together and deny access to any football fan this fall that's not been vaccinated. What do you say to that idea? UW and Oregon should form a partnership and get together and kick out the unvaxxed.
Johnny Can's taking a stand.
Oh, yeah. You should go read the replies to that bad boy.
Yeah. Well, in some situations, so a lot of the broadcasters weren't going to be able to go and do the games.
You know what I did? I didn't even bother reading his story. I was more interested in the replies to his tweet than the story.
Well, look, in some ways we're having a big problem here in L.A. County because they're trying to say you have to wear a mask
outside
mega events.
Yeah, it's 100 damn degrees outside.
And it's just that, I don't want to sound like a bad guy, but I've been vaccinated. I jumped the line because I'm a sickly person. But I'm a mouth breather. Like it's just not worth it. For me, it's just not worth paying money to wear a mask for 3 hours outdoors.
Sure. You're saying, well, first of all, you don't go to games anyway unless you're paid.
No.
But if you were like a season ticket holder for USC, UCLA, whatever, blah,
I'd
blah, blah.
sell them.
There's no way you're going if you have to wear a mask.
Right. I would rather, just personally, that they ask, just because I'm vaccinated, I'd rather they just make sure you're vaccinated as opposed to have to wearing a mask. I think people are pretty fed up with being told what to do when they're outside. I'm not an expert. I've been living this like everybody else has. And I think when people are outside, people are outside.
Well, they're doing the same thing here in town. They announced that earlier today.
And I find that to be
indoors and outdoors in big groups. You got to have it on.
I got an issue with that. I really do. And without having a big reason other than just the fatigue of the situation.
Right.
And being sick with seeing. Like, the sad part is, like, people like me, we don't lose out because of this. They never stopped production. No one ever stopped putting idiots on TV and radio through this. But a lot of other things have stopped. And it's just really hard to look at your kids in a mask. You look at pictures of your kids for the last 2 years, and half of them, they're wearing a mask. And you see that that's part of their lives. And if we're outdoors, for me, that's a real deal breaker for going anywhere.
Right.
It really, just for me personally. So, I mean, and I've had to go to Charger camp and showed my Vax Pass and all that different stuff. It's just, I guess it's just very unfortunate, the things that divide us, whether they be cloth masks or having to show a card or whatever. We're still going to have these events because everybody wants to make their money.
Right.
But I just find it to be very unfortunate. Do I agree with Johnny Cans? I don't disagree with him.
Yeah.
But I don't. There's a lot of people around me that aren't vaccinated. They don't want to be.
Sure.
And I don't sit there and talk to them like they're the idiots of history, like they are, walking dumbasses. I don't, like, a lot of people are just so disgusted with them,
right,
that they can't even. They won't even. They don't want relationships. They won't cut ties with people.
It's ruining friendships for
Right.
sure. No, I'm totally with you. And I don't know about you, and I think you and I are pretty much on the same page with our approach here to this. And I try. I don't want to be the guy that's preaching to people on the air. I don't want to be judgmental about people on the air. I don't know your situation from Adam. I got no idea why you chose to go down the road that you chose to go down.
Because I did a high school game and I took 50 selfies in the first hour.
Right.
And they tested me before and after, and I said, you know what? I ought to get vaccinated.
I just know people have a decision to make. That's it. If the leagues and teams are going to enforce a mask or a vaccine, then you got to make a call. You know?
If you want to work, I mean, and
or go to the game.
The football thing is interesting to me. Like, it's interesting that there's so many people in football, and not even on racial lines. Both, everybody in a lot of different nooks and crannies of the sport at every level of the sport that don't want to be vaccinated. And football is the funniest thing because football, in any sport, they pump you so full of crap all the time. Like,
exactly.
You're literally taking shots all the time of stuff that they barely tell you what's in it.
Right.
And it's
interesting. You imagine Brian Bosworth? I ain't getting that vaccine.
Yeah.
No way.
So that part of it to me is really funny. It's like an interesting place to draw the line. It's like, well, if you need this to work, what about the Novocaine mixed with cortisone mixed with whatever the hell else they put in your leg right before a game and hope that they don't hit a nerve? That part of this conversation, it just the football realm of it is very interesting. And it's something that's going to rectify itself, I'm sure, as time goes on, as I hope all of this does, because you just hate to see people's relationship destroyed or relationships destroyed over something like this. Like, from the way I understand it, if I'm vaccinated, okay, I'm vaccinated. If you're unvaccinated, okay, it shouldn't make a difference for me if I'm vaccinated, right? Like, is that the way it works?
I think it goes a little deeper than that.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I just try not to judge people.
That. Yeah. Well, but
all.
Again, that's it. Just the lack of respect going back and forth between people is really unfortunate. So, anyway, I hear you. Great stuff, as always. We got to run. We got to get out of here and get Joe Fan.
I mean, I guess all you have to do is just have a beer in your hand the whole time.
And then you're good to go. Exactly. Or be continuously eating and drinking for 3.5 hours straight.
What if you have a toothpick in your mouth?
I think that counts.
See, look, I'm
that
sure
counts.
there's a toothpick.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered.
What if you weigh 95 pounds? A toothpick could be like a meal, for crying out loud. All right, we'll see you in a week. Love you.
There's so many of those 95-pounders at the game.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, they're called 12-year-olds.
They're over at the Storm tonight with Dick.
Get out of here. We'll see you in a week. Petros Papadakis with us. More with Joe Fan from the VMAC next on 950 KJR.
And podcasting all in one app.
Imagine the perfect cheeseburger. Toasted bun, big juicy burger, melted cheddar, and Stella Rosa Royale. Yeah, Stella Rosa Royale is food's best friend. Best served chilled. It has a bold red berry flavor and more alcohol than other Stella Rosa wines. And pairs well with any food you can imagine. So grab a bottle from your local retailer today. But maybe change your shirt first. You have some imaginary drool on it.
Celebrate. Stella Rosa.
Celebrate responsibly.
All right, boys and girls, we're back at the VMAC. Half hour to go before our pre-match show. Jackson Feltz and a cast of thousands. Sounders in Dallas looking to avenge the draw from a few days ago down there in Seattle. In Dallas tonight against FC Dallas, coming off that thrashing of the Portland Timbers on Sunday night. I know Joe Fan's a big soccer aficionado. What'd you
I
make
enjoy
of
the Sounders.
6-2 game in Portland Sunday, pal?
I think it's always fun when you host the big rivalry games.
Yes.
But when you embarrass a team on their own turf, like this, just a beautiful. There's just something just chef's kiss about that, where you say, yeah, we would have loved for our place rocking. They opened up the full stadium and the tifos before the game. It's going nuts.
Yes.
But when you have fans, because you know the energy when you come out and the people are talking smack to you the whole game, and there's such a vitriol between these two clubs and maybe more significantly the fan bases, and then you go in there and put up a 6 spot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like when the Huskies put up 70
It's
at
exactly
Autzen.
like that.
It's the
And
same
Jackson
thing.
even made that comparison from a football perspective, and both of them took place in opposing territory in their stadium, and that was the beautiful thing about the Oregon game. I was down
because
there.
you just can't say, we'll see it at our place.
No, you go in there.
It's like, though, we were just at your place.
You kicked their ass in front of their own fans, and their own fans had to pay to watch that.
They woke up in their own beds that morning.
Unbelievable.
They didn't wake up in a hotel bed.
I'm totally with you. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, when you're a kid,
they drove their own car to the game.
Well, yeah, and but those moments kind of mold you as a sports fan. Like, I remember when Washington went to Nebraska in 1991. I was 18 years old. Actually, I was 17 because I turned 18 that August, right? No, I was 18 because it was in September. Anyway, they're on the road. They're in Lincoln, Nebraska. And they get the win, and they come home, and everyone's waiting at the airport for them. Going to the airport and meeting the Seahawks at SeaTac when I was a kid after big road wins was one of my favorite things to do. My dad would take me. We'd go with friends. That was back in the day when you could walk right to the gate, right? Or, walk underneath and watch the players come off the plane. So I'm totally with you, man. The fact that it happened in their house is even better. I'd rather have it happen there than have it happen here. But we got their game for you, 5 o'clock pregame, kickoff at 5:30. And a lot of guys on this team, obviously, that have spent time in the NFC West. I mean, Gerald Everett with the Rams, Kerry Hyder with the Niners just last year, Witherspoon. So they've got a unique perspective, and we've been kind of kicking this around, man, that, hey, it's 7 teams in the playoffs now. Is there a chance that you could see all 4 teams from the NFC West make the playoffs? I think if there's one division in the NFC where that could happen, it's in this division.
I agree with you. I just think it's just going to be too much of a bloodbath interdivision for someone to be able to do it. I mean, I guess if every team goes 3-3 in the division, then maybe it's conceivable.
What's the worst team,
I think this is. I don't think there's a question what the best team or what the best division in football is. I think this is, and we're going to get into this right now. Is I don't think there's if we asked 100 different people what their power rankings are in the NFC West,
right?
I just don't think you could give me a list of 4. Maybe if you were dying on the hill that Arizona was 1.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I think I would say, all right, maybe I disagree, but like I can see it.
I still think it's the Rams and Seahawks at the top, and I think by a pretty decent margin. I just don't think the Niners have the defense they used to have to be able to win this thing. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe they'll be fine. But I still think it's the Rams and Hawks. But I'm with you. You could creak open the door or tilt your head either way and convince me somehow, some way the Niners maybe finish in second place a game out or maybe even get hot and win the damn thing. I got no idea, but
it all depends on quarterback play.
Oh, totally. And I wonder if Jimmy Garoppolo, to keep his job, not only has to play well, but really well to keep his job this year.
If you're just keeping your head above water, I don't know if that's good enough, because you're going to feel like if the Niners are scratching and clawing their way to wins behind an elite defense, there's going to be such immediate, gosh, I mean, just can you imagine if Jimmy G throws an interception on their first possession of the season? I mean, the immediate Twitter freak out from Niners Twitter.
I love it.
Calling for the rookie is going to be insane.
I love
That's
it.
what's challenging about this in the Niners organization, is that either way, there's not going to be a whole lot of patience. If Trey Lance were to start and struggle, the whole, like, we told you we should have started the veteran crew, I mean, or they're gonna be boisterous.
Right.
It's sort of, I made this comparison on Twitter, it's sort of like when Russell Wilson had a bad game in Arizona, his debut, and immediately the Matt Flynn
totally.
supporters chime in and say, we told you, go with the veteran. This defense is too good to risk it on a rookie. You need that play. You don't go with the upside yet. You got to know what you're going to get. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out, no matter who they start. But the leash is going to be extremely short for Jimmy, certainly from the fan base, and you would imagine from Kyle Shanahan as well, especially, well, A, if they're losing games, but B, even if they're winning, but it's a defense that's having to dominate, and they're still winning close games.
It seems like a really odd way to go about it with Trey Lance and keeping Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster, because anybody who's got a brain in their head knows that Jimmy Garoppolo's future is not long for the Niners. He's not going to be the guy in the next 2-3 years. He may not even be the guy in week 2 or 3. So, like, what are we doing here, right? You want to have Jimmy go be the sacrificial lamb and the guinea pig and show Trey Lance how to play football? Well, you could have signed any veteran free agent, to make that happen. So, I don't know. I mean,
and then the Niners fan would retort, this is Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes part 2. And that's probably, a bit aggressive, because that was a one-time thing that worked, and does that mean it necessarily has to be that way?
Yeah.
So I get it.
That's not how they're framing it, though, down there, right? They're not couching it that way.
I would say most ardent Jimmy G supporters, at least from a fan base standpoint, are framing it that way. But I just think what we've seen from Jimmy, there just hasn't been any evolution of the deep ball. He doesn't have the mobility. And the turnovers have been there. So there's been so much stick without a whole lot of carrot for Jimmy G, and he struggled to stay healthy. So he has been a guy who has been pretty stagnant in terms of his production, apart from a couple monster games that Super Bowl year where he was tremendous against the Saints. There's a couple games against the Cardinals he was sensational, but by and large, it's been a defense that's carried him, and his big plays have been largely drawn up by Kyle Shanahan, where guys are schemed open, and Jimmy just makes a silver platter throw, and it's done. So I don't want to trivialize Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a fine quarterback. Well, when you trade 3 first-rounders for a guy you take 3rd overall, you'd like to think that he's the guy you're giving the keys to immediately.
Well, certain things just become obvious, right? Like when the Seahawks gave up 2 first-rounders for Jamal Adams, it was obvious they would have to re-sign him, right? At that point in time. You trade all that to get Trey Lance, it's obvious you'll have to re-sign him. You move up to get Patrick Mahomes if you're Kansas City, well, obviously he's going to become the guy, and not Alex Smith down the road. So it's like a who are you fooling type of thing. And you mentioned Russell Wilson there and Matt Flynn in 2012. He comes out, actually it was like week 4 and week 5. He threw 5 picks in 2 games and had back-to-back passer ratings of 46 and 82, and people were doing exactly what you're talking about 10 years ago. You were here back then. Where's Matt Flynn? What the hell is going on with Matt Flynn? And then what happened the next week? He beat the Patriots on that touchdown pass to Sidney Rice, and the rest is history. 134 passer rating, beats Brady with 3 touchdowns, throws for 300, and the rest is history for Russell Wilson. So, I don't know, man. I just think looking back on it, the Seahawks did it exactly the right way with Russell Wilson, meaning they put him – I don't know if there's ever been a rookie quarterback, Joe, in the history of the NFL who was more set up for success than Russell Wilson was. They gave him everything. He shows up here. He has the highest-paid offensive line in football. He's got Marshawn Lynch. He's got Golden Tate. He's got Doug Baldwin, Zach Miller. He's got the best defense in the NFL. He was the last piece, not the first piece, and I wonder if more NFL teams will now do it that way.
And you would think you could make an easy argument. Trey Lance has the exact same setup with an offensive line that's loaded. They just paid Trent Williams the big money. They've got a running back in Trey Sermon they like a whole lot, paired with Raheem Mostert. Their weaponry at wide receiver is tremendous when you factor in George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel.
Great spot for a rookie.
And then defensively,
okay, not dominant, but not terrible.
Man,
right?
I don't know.
Are they elite?
I don't know. Yes.
Are they as good as they were when they played the Ravens?
Are they as good as they were when they played the Ravens? What year? Wait, what do you? Oh,
the Super Bowl year or the Chiefs? Sorry, the Chiefs. Are they as good as they were the year they played Kansas City in the Super Bowl?
They are.
The Ravens, I'm thinking about Colin Kaepernick.
They're a tick short.
2012.
They're a tick short because Javon
ago.
Kinlaw isn't DeForest Buckner.
Right.
But D Ford wasn't healthy, and so if he's healthy this year and Nick Bosa's back,
you've
got Eric Armstead still.
Secondary as good as it was?
It's very similar.
Okay.
And it could. I would argue maybe better.
Okay.
You could argue Jason Verrett is playing better this year. Or he's playing better now than Sherm. And Emmanuel Mosley is a guy who's still there and gotten better, and the safety's the same.
Well, if that's the case, if you're right, then the Niners absolutely have a shot if they make the right call at quarterback, right? I mean, it's all about the decision. So, NFC West power rankings, give them to me. 1 through 4.
1 through 4.
Yeah. Who wins it?
The Rams, the Seahawks, the Niners, the Cardinals.
Gotcha. And the worst team has a record of what? 17 games this year. Arizona goes what? 9-8? That's pretty good. 9-8 is not bad.
And I could be convinced of 10-7.
All right, we'll get a break.
I will say 10-7.
We'll get a break. Joe Fan will help us wrap it up next before Sounders FC Soccer coming up on 950 KG. All right, last segment for us. Joe Fan in for Dick Fain. Back tomorrow with the VMAC 3 o'clock. We got Sounders FC Soccer, baby, coming up. 5 o'clock pre-match show, 5:30 kickoff.
Can you feel it now?
Sounders in Dallas coming up on 950 KG. They are Joe Fan. Thanks for coming down, pal. Appreciate this, buddy.
This has been fun.
Yeah, we're talking about our power rankings. You know, I'll tell you this. I'm not a big fan of lists, for example. You know, everyone does their lists. Top 17 things I saw at Seahawks training camp last week. I hate that crap. I just want to go on the air. And like my dad's always asking me, what are you talking about today? I got no idea. And honestly, no idea. Microphone goes on 3 o'clock. Blah. Whatever comes out of my mouth is what you'll get on the radio show. It's like Black Friday at Best Buy at 9 o'clock at night. Whatever's left on the shelf is what you get. Everything else has been picked clean. But, you know, I mean, your power rankings, you had the Rams, the Seahawks, Niners, and Arizona. I would probably agree with that. I know it's boring as hell, right, to agree with your co-host. Nobody wants to have that here.
It's understandable. I'm always right. So.
Yeah, pretty much, you know, except for when you're wrong. I would say that I would agree with that in general terms because, let's face it, man. I mean, the Rams came here a year ago with what really is a third-string quarterback in Jared Goff, who was their number 3 guy. Number 1 is a healthy Jared Goff. Number 2 was the backup, and number 3 was him with the busted finger, and he beat you. And Aaron Donald misses the entire second half, and you still can't win the freaking game at home. So, we've argued, Dick and I have, about the impact of fans. And I think if there's fans there, I still think the Rams win the game against the Seahawks a year ago. Maybe not as by the delta that they won the game by, but it may have been a closer game in the fourth quarter. I still think the Rams win it. I just think the Rams, when you add Matt Stafford to that group, and now you add a healthy Aaron Donald, I think the Rams are the team to beat, but I don't think that they're a 15-2 team. By any stretch of the imagination.
I don't think they're 15-2 because it's just so hard to go 15-2 in the NFL. They could be 13-4.
But they could be a 12-5 team.
I also think any team in the NFC West can have a hard time going 15-2 just based on the division they play in.
Nobody's going 15-2.
You could lose 3 games in your division easily.
Right.
And so,
I asked you off the air: is it a better chance the Hawks go 4-2 in the division, meaning they sweep somebody, or they go 3-3?
I would say 3-3.
Yeah.
And you might just take it 3-3.
Well, you're taking, to use a golf term, triple bogey out of play, right? At that point,
yeah.
You go 3-3. I would, if somebody offered me 4-2, I would sign up for that in a heartbeat.
And immediately,
in a heartbeat, I would take 4-2.
Because there's just you look at the Cardinals, even if they don't make the jump, and you look at that team at the end of the year and say, "Gosh, Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, that's not the combo that's going to get us back to where we want to be in the postseason."
Mm-hmm.
There's still going to be an absolute thorn in Seattle's side for 2 games.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, none of those are going to be chalk 'em up wins, and so I think you'd almost take 3-3. But certainly 4-2. Someone offers you a winning record, you don't even look at what the odds would be at 6-0 or 5-1.
They were 4-2 the year they won the whole damn thing in 2013. So, and the Niners were actually 5-1 in the division that year. Ended up having to play on the road. So I just think this about the Seahawks. I think their pass rush is better than where it was in September of last year, obviously. I mean, look at the additions they've made. They've got Dunlap, they've got Hyder. I'm talking about where they were when the season began, not where they were when the season ended. They are a better pass rushing team. Alton Robinson, Darrell Taylor. I was really hoping, honestly, Joe, that Aldon Smith was going to make the football team. I think Aldon Smith would have been a really nice complementary piece for this defensive line. Obviously, I wasn't counting on that because you never know with that guy. One misstep and he's out of the NFL forever. But I think they've addressed most of what they had to address. I don't know the offensive line is that much better. They might be robbing Peter to pay Paul now. They get Jackson, but who knows about Dwayne Brown? So the Dwayne Brown thing concerns me only because he's proven before he's willing to miss games to get what he wants. That's how the Seahawks got him.
The offensive line is incredibly concerning. With Dwayne Brown and Ethan Posich, without those two guys, they could be in trouble. Plain and simple. I think the way I look at it is this. The Seahawks didn't make it to the Super Bowl last year because the offense failed.
Yep.
Completely over the course of the last half of the season and the postseason.
Right.
They have to be top 5 for the entire season, and the defense has to be top half.
Yeah, no.
As long as the defense isn't a liability, and in the beginning of last year, that's why they were winning these shootouts, the defense was a liability. If the defense can play with a lead, and a lead is something the offense should have no problem giving their defense on a week-in and week-out basis, given how much talent is there and the faith that this team has in Shane Waldron and that relationship with Russell Wilson, the offense, the goal should be to be top 5, if not top 3. There's that much talent. But the defense, I think as long as they're not a liability, this team can go as far as they hope to go.
Well said. All right, pal, good stuff. Thanks for doing this.
Tons of fun, man. I appreciate you.
Come back later. All right, we appreciate it. Joe Fan with us, filling in for Dick, who's back tomorrow. Sounders FC Soccer.
I feel a lot better than Bob.
Thank you. Pre-match, 5 o'clock, kickoff 5:30. Coming up next on 950 KJ.
Welcome to Toyota's National Sales Event.
Thanks. I've been waiting to get a new Toyota all year.
Well, right now we've got exciting offers on our lineup of 2021s, like Camry, Corolla, RAV4, Tacoma.
Highlander! Jan, do you mind watching Chance?
Oh, okay. Listen, Chance, I run a tight ship, so I don't want any funny business. Who's a good boy? Toyota's National Sales Event is on.
Current offers end September 7th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.